The case of Gujarat. There are days when speeches made by our netas and so-called sons distress me so much that a voice within me screams, "Let all of them go to Jahannam hell. I will get on with my life as best as I can." When I get over the depression, a wave of anger surges with me, and I say to myself, "This is my homeland. I will not let these medieval minded fanatics get away with wasting precious years squabbling over where exactly a temple should have its foundation stone laid." I will shout my protest from the rooftops. Then comes the ghastly carnage in Gujarat. Much has been written and said about the riots of 2002, but not enough. I would like to quote from a document from another time, summing up this report from Maharashtra government after the riots in Bhiwandi and Jalgaon in 1970. Judge Madon wrote, "It was a lovely, arduous, and weary journey through a land of hatred and violence, of prejudice and perjury. The encounters on the way were with the men without compassion, lasting for the blood of their fellow men, with politicians who trafficked in communal hatred and religious fanaticism, with local leaders who sought power by sowing disunity and bitterness, with police officers and policemen who were unworthy of their uniform, with investigating officers without honor and without scruples, with men committed to falsehood and wedded to fraud, and with dealers in mayhem and murder." He could have been writing about Narendra Modi's Gujarat, but at least the Maharashtra government under S.B. Chavan accepted Judge Madan's damning report with all its recommendations. Modi's government dismissed the report of National Human Rights Commission as incorrect and biased. The central government's attitude was no different. Cabinet ministers like Arun Jaitley shamelessly supported Modi's stand. To them, it was mere propaganda by the pseudo-secularists. What can one expect from an administration that has openly sided with murderers? It is clear that the attack on the train at Godhra was pre-planned. Far from putting the perpetrators down with an iron hand, the government colluded with the mischief makers as its police and its chief minister were imbued with the spirit of Badla revenge. It is also clear that the revenge was so vicious and effective because it was also pre-planned. There have been credible reports that within hours of the Godhra massacre, armed mobs were out in different parts of India with detailed lists of Muslim homes and establishments. Several hundred Muslims were hacked to death or burnt alive, women raped, homes and shops looted and burned down. I have seen it before with my own eyes in 1947 and 1984. The police stood by like tamashbin spectators watching the carnage. They had been tipped off not to interfere, but let looters and killers teach hapless men, women, and children a lesson they would never forget. In Gujarat, they went several steps further. Not only did the police remain inert when the army arrived on the scene, it was not deployed. Flag marches are spectacles which don't frighten evildoers. What does frighten men? What does frighten them are orders to shoot at sight, which were issued too late, only after many lives have been lost. Officers who tried to do their duty and foil the plans of the mob were transferred out. Even the camps set up for the riot victims, there was harassment. There can be no doubt there was serious dereliction of duty on the part of the Chief Minister. his cabinet colleagues, and the IG of police. Even a year after rioting, many Muslim victims remain homeless. Those who have returned to their homes have been forced to withdraw all complaints filed with the police. They are at the mercy of their Hindu neighbors who have warned them never to forget their subordinate status. I won't be surprised if Muslims in Gujarat one day have to start paying religious taxes like the jizya, which medieval Islamic rulers imposed on their non-Muslim subjects. It is ironic that the highest incidence of violence against Muslims and Christians has taken place in Gujarat, the home state of Bapu Gandhi. It has been going on for years. Before the 2002 riots, Christian missionaries were being attacked in the tribal districts of the state. There were reports of violence and intimidation coming in almost every day. We will see more of that. Since the 1990s, newspaper reports have put the blame for this communalization squarely on neo-fascist members of the Sangh Parivar, the RSS, Vishwa Hindu Parishad, Bajrang Dal and Shiv Sena with the collusion of the BJP government. Reports of the Minorities Commission substantiate what has appeared in the national press. For those interested, photographic evidence of destroyed churches, dargahs, Muslim homes and shops is available. Among the most ludicrous is a state-sponsored attempt to wipe out remnants of Muslim presence. I first saw this in 1988. 1998, Gujarat's capital Ahmedabad city was built by a Muslim ruler in the Middle Ages. I noticed that milestones on the main highway leading to the city that had dropped Ahmed from its name and made it to Ahmedabad. How did Gujarat become the laboratory of Hindutva? It did not happen overnight. The Sangh and its sympathizers began poisoning Gujarat not long after independence. Even the Congress took advantage of the slowly vitiating atmosphere to divide Gujarat society for electoral gains, unwittingly helping the RSS. And 1969 Ahmedabad riots were the first triumph of the RSS in Gujarat. Its fortunes began rising after that. I went to Ahmedabad in 1970, 5 months after the riots. I quote from the article I wrote after my return. I had constituted myself into one-man commission of inquiry to find out all I could in 3 days and pass on my verdict to my readers. My object was not to discover what had happened, but why it happened, and even more with what the people of Ahmedabad thought about it today and what they would do tomorrow if some incident again strained relations between the city's 90% Hindus and 10% Muslims.